Welcome back to Maverick Baking and welcome to the video that at least 4 of you have asked for, and that's a lot to me. Yes, today we are diving into the final definitive ranking of cheap box chocolates that we all love at this time of year. Well, it's been about 2 years since I first did this.
So in here, along with the usual suspects, we have 2 brand new additions to this classic British box of chocolates, and I'm actually really excited, really excited.
In the past kind of month or two, I've reviewed for you Cadbury's Roses and Mars Celebrations. If you haven't already seen these videos, do treat your eyes and ears to viewing them once you're finished with this one, because today is the big one. It's the classic and it's the one at least a few of you have asked for. We're reviewing Quality Street by Nestle. And as you will see, Francesco has already decided to leave me a note on the box because he didn't know this was the prop I was going to use for filming. Today we are fucking with the OG. We are talking about Quality Street, around since the 1930s and ever present in British households across this little island we inhabit for the entire Christmas period, whether we enjoy them or not. Quality Streets are just one of those things that you never really kind of think about throughout the rest of the year, but at Christmas time it just feels a bit wrong not to have them. But are they actually as good as we consider them to be in the grand scheme of things? Mostly no. But today we are going to talk about the full ranking of the 12 different varieties of colourful little chocolatey jewels that come inside this iconic purple box. Let's get started. And of course, don't forget, whether you do it now or in 10 minutes time, leave a comment below to let me know what your top 12 ranking is. Now, this one, despite the fact there are 12 sweets in the box, this is actually going to be a top 10 because there are 2 sets of sweets within this which I feel need to be kind of grouped as collectively good or collectively bad. I'll explain in a second. Coming in at 10th and officially worst in joint last place in the definitive ranking of Nestle's Quality Street is the toffee penny and the toffee finger thing, because really, I don't know who these are aimed at. You know, the only kind of people who seem to enjoy these are the family members who don't actually have any teeth left. And, you know, I'm not saying that's the reason why they enjoy them, but I don't see how anyone with their own set of gnashers could enjoy these in good faith. They are just wrong. Listen to this. Do you want that in and around your mouth? Absolutely not. These things, if you are out with the UK or it's just been a very long time since you've tasted Quality Street, they're basically the same thing in different shapes. This kind of finger one offers the slightest bit more malleability, but it's fairly solid, fairly tooth-wrecking, and just not particularly pleasant to eat. And the toffee penny is just, you know, maybe slightly chewier, I don't really know. To me, they taste the same, they're equally as unenjoyable, and there's not even any chocolate on them, so I don't really know why they exist. They are joint last place for me, always to be left at the base of the box, the tub, the bag, whatever receptacle the Quality Street come in, to be left for whoever needs a sugar rush desperately without caring about the texture or flavour. Coming in 9th place in this ranking of Quality Street sweets is, unsurprisingly, the strawberry one. This one kind of inexplicably comes in a darker chocolate shell, but the inside is every bit as bad as the kind of Cadbury Roses version of this sweet. It's just a strawberry flavoured fondant. Now, someone very kindly pointed out after the Roses review that this is essentially kind of like a strawberry flavoured cream egg, which though I could probably agree with in texture, it's still a no from me. It's too sweet, the texture and the flavour just kind of clash with the chocolate, especially the darker chocolate. It's getting left at the bottom of the box. A similar theme follows us to number 8 in this ranking. It's the orange cream, or crème, depending on how this particular box chooses to spell it. Ah yes, it is crème, for some inexplicable reason, because we don't use any other French terminology in this box. This is filled in exactly the same way as the strawberry one, except it's orange flavoured. I don't really need to say any more. It's too sweet. The texture isn't right. The only difference is this one comes in milk chocolate that kind of goes a little bit better with the orange flavouring. I will eat this at a push but I won't be very happy about it. Coming up next in our definitive and undisputed ranking of Nestle Quality Street is the Caramel Swirl. Now, the design of this one is actually quite cute. I think the gold packaging is adorable, and there is actually a little kind of swirly pattern printed on the chocolate itself. It's just not for me. It's like a Twix without the biscuit, a Snickers without the nuts or the nougat. It's dull, it's too sweet, and the caramel's too runny to back up the kind of not particularly good chocolate texture or flavour either. It's just, you know. Next up is the ever-present and ever-annoying plain milk chocolate block. Now, we see this in Celebrations through the Small Galaxy, we see it in Heroes and in Roses through the Cadbury Dairy Milk Chunk, and we see it in Nestle in what is probably the worst tasting version of this, because Nestle chocolate is never the one. You know, they might be able to make some decent filled or novelty chocolates sometimes when it, you know, think of like Smarties or anything like that, but plain milk chocolate from a Quality Street is so dead. So dead that it's already 6 feet under. As I always say with this kind of thing, you know, if you wanted just a block of Nestle chocolate, just buy a Yorkie. It's probably going to be cheaper than buying the box of Quality Street. It's so dull. Swiftly moving up the rankings, we get to the orange crunchy thing. Now, this one is intriguing because it's one of the ones that's just inexplicably in foil instead of the plasticky wrap, but I quite like the contrast, you know? And while obviously I have ranked the other orange chocolate considerably lower than this one, it's mainly a texture thing. This one I will enjoy infinitely more than the orange cream. Even though the flavour is again just milk chocolate and orange, this one has more of a kind of soft truffly ganache-like texture with wee crunchy bits just scattered through it. And it's just so much more enjoyable to eat. It's not cloyingly sweet. It gives you a chocolate orange hit if you fancy one. And it's quite nice, you know, on all fronts. So I'm happy with it being there. We continue up the mediocre middle of the ladder to the fudge. Now, this is, it's fine. It's very similar, you know, to a Cadbury's fudge, anything like that. It provides you with a bit of a kind of caramel-ish, fudge-ish, toffee-ish flavour in a fairly nondescript, soft, but still malleable texture. It's a little bit chewy, a little bit dense, a little bit fudgy. Inside some milk chocolate, it's just fine. Nothing more, nothing less, just fine. Getting into the good upper tier of Nestle Quality Street, we swiftly embark on a journey to the coconut eclair. Now, this one is a bit of an anomaly for me. It has all of the promise of a bounty, which I will endlessly defend from the coconut cowards in our communities, but it offers a little bit of extra something I can never actually decide if I like or not. Essentially, this is a milk chocolate with a very distinct chewy coconut centre. Now, while a Bounty bar or an Almond Joy bar, as a kind of American or Canadian equivalent, is a bit chewy and very full of that flaky desiccated coconut vibe, this is like a much chewier version of that. I don't really know why it's called an eclair. It resembles nothing like a kind of choux pastry eclair or any other classic kind of eclair sweet, which usually involve a hard caramel. This is just a kind of chewy coconut chocolate thing, but the flavours work well together. The texture's a little bit different. It's fine. Moving on to one that I was actually entirely unaware of until this year. I have no idea how long this has been around, but I know that Quality Street like to kind of chop and change some of their offerings now and again. This is whatever it's called, the chocolate caramel brownie. Now, I tasted this with extremely low expectations the other day and was quite pleasantly surprised. It's a kind of standard Quality Street chocolate hemisphere with a thick layer of chocolate on the bottom and this kind of melty, creamy, smooth ganache that tastes actually like a brownie with a little bit of that kind of brown sugary caramel sweetness in there. It's quite hard to capture the actual brownie flavour, and a lot of products that call themselves chocolate brownie flavoured, you know, whether it's ice cream, whether it's even muffins and things like that, they usually just taste of too much cocoa powder. This one actually reminds me of the sweetness and the kind of fudginess of a brownie. It's pretty good, and I would say definitely among all of the chocolate boxes nowadays, it's pretty unique. You won't see anything similar in Heroes, Celebrations, or in Roses. It's a little bit of a dark horse for me this year, and I will certainly be hoarding these little kind of teal wrappers all for myself. And finally, so as Oh, there's a rainbow. Cute. And finally, so as to put aside any kind of controversy as to which one of these deserves the top spot, I'm going to give a joint first place to the two nuttiest and most delectable chocolates in the Equality Street selection. The purple one and the green triangle. Now, one of my favourite things about both of these is that their names are trademarked, which I find just quite tickling. All of the others are fairly forgettable, apart from the brownie one, which I am a quiet fan of. The green triangle is iconic. The purple one is so iconic that I think it was Costa or Cafe Nero kind of based an entire hot chocolate drink around it this year because people know it so well without having to say the purple one, the kind of chocolate hazelnut one from Quality Street. People just know the purple one and the green triangle. In fact, I remember as a kid, there was a whole advertising campaign around Christmas time about a guy being pissed off because they didn't leave any purple one in the box.
Help yourselves, guys. Leave me a purple one, yeah? Cheers. The purple one? The purple one? Why can take the purple one? Take the purple one! Take one. Anyone, but not that one.
But both of these obviously happily feed my bias of loving anything chocolate and hazelnut based. I'll give you that. But they also offer some of the best texture in the whole box. This has a nice kind of soft praline middle. It's still super sweet, super generic, and fairly milk chocolate, but it's punctuated with a bit of softness, a bit of crunch, and a nice hazelnut flavour. It gives you the promise of something fancier, like a Ferrero Rocher, while still being a Quality Street. And this one does kind of the same. Much like the best one from Roses, which I think is the hazel caramel, or whatever the hell it's called. Same vibes. Milk chocolate, little bit of gooey caramel, but just enough of kind of nuttiness in a whole hazelnut to make you very pleased that you picked this one up. They're good, they're always the first ones gone from the box, and even for people who aren't kind of nut fangirls like me, God, that's a meme waiting to happen. People love them for a good reason. The texture's great, the flavor's great, it's varied, and you know, while this one isn't necessarily unique in its theme, this one pretty much is, and they're both equally as enjoyable for me. So they both deserve the #1 spot that I will not allow any dispute on. But that is it for the undisputed, all-covering, ultimate Quality Street ranking. As always, do let me know in the comments your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you violently disagree? And of course, drop me your rankings in the comments below. Which ones would you make an entire box of? Which ones would you drop into a fire and leave alone? Let me know. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, do consider giving that a little tap to that like button. And of course, do consider subscribing because we are doing review videos like this and recipes and vlogs and challenges and foodie related stuff all the time. And I would love to see you again. In the meantime, that's all I have time for today. I need to go and pour myself a drink because it's, you know, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and I will see you for the next one.